cut off earlier. Okay, hold on, let me show you something. You can't really see the mountains that well. Anyway, we're here resting up because tomorrow we'll be going backpacking through the thing over here. Someone is stealing ice cream.
I'm not stealing anything.
What?
I'm not stealing anything.
Whatever.
Actually, I might just do this.
No, you might just not.
Yeah, I might just.
Anyway, so we came down, make sure that had everything that we needed. From the other night camping, the rain fly was a little wet, so we brought it in. We set it up over here. But I packed everything except for the needles that I needed for my medication. As I told you before, diabetic. So packed everything except for that. So earlier we went out to CVS, make sure we got that taken care of. So now I have that. The lady gave me a couple to get the rest of this week for free. I just had to pay for the alcohol pads, which is great because I'm not trying to backpack and not have and not be able to properly clean the injection site might turn out to be a problem. And when you talk about backcountry, it's just you and the woods and everything else. So nothing really happened since we've been here, but the pancake breakfast we were supposed to have this morning, we're going to have tonight. So I am going to make some banana pancakes before the night before. Before the night before? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, that was it. Just a quick update. And yeah. Are you dizzy yet? See ya.
Okay, so I've checked the spatula. It's clean.
It should be clean since it was washed.
Yeah, but sometimes you put things in the dishwasher and it doesn't work. So
You know what this setup looks like to me right now?
what?
The Barons. When Hannah is cooking, or actually, oh look, Hannah Barron, and what's her dad name? Oh my gosh, Jeff Barron. Yeah, it was over in the kitchen, and we just go and put a little butter in there, and he's put like whole sticks of butter, like 2 whole sticks. Like that day he made them, what was it, the biscuits? Mm-hmm. That was crazy, but the food looks good.
I'm melting the butter over here so it doesn't melt. I mean, so it doesn't burn on the heat.
Because as we traveled, I guess we can keep this. So as we traveled, we did not have oil, as well as all the seasonings that I talked about the other time. So, yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, it's not...
Improvise, that's what you do.
It's not fully melted, but... Listen. I'm not Guy Fieri, so...
I don't know who that is,
I
but
don't
move
really
on.
care that much. Okay. Done. Ladle. Pancake mix. Bowl over the pan so you don't drop any. By the way, it depends on like 3. Okay.
Wait.
This
Back.
much. That's a really spread out pancake. I'm gonna turn the heat up because it's not.
Yes, it should be hot.
We've bumped it up to 5. Is over mixing a pancake like a thing? Like, I know that it is. In my heart, I know that it is. It looks flat.
It should look flat, but if the pan was hot, it would start bubbling and you can put it over. Now, if it was less, it would be... If it was thicker, it would sit there and it wouldn't spread. I particularly like my pancakes to spread.
Mm-hmm. Okay, The bottom is red now.
I just like electric ovens and stoves.
Me too. I don't know how they work. I don't know how they work, but like, they never work as well as the gas does. Just saying. Look at our girl, our pancake. She's flipped. She's brown. She's cooking in this pot of life. I want to flip it over once more because nobody wants an undercooked pancake. That's gross.
Yeah. Jeff Barron, eat your heart out.
Okay. Shall we go to a plate? Okay, horrible lighting, I know. Oh, the fridge just started making noises. Anyway. Sorry if that made you dizzy. Horrible lighting, I know, but pancakes are done. Boom. I think we got like 4 each. So yeah, we're gonna go eat dinner. It is 8:16. And we'll see you later. Or tomorrow. Bye.
Well, good afternoon. This is day 2, 3, I think it is, down here in Tennessee. And we're starting a little late, but this is why we came here for today. We're gonna go backpacking in Great Smoky Mountains. And am I scared? No. A little concerned? Just a bit. The elevation is 1,400 feet plus. The elevation gain is 1,000. We've only gone up to at least about 750. Our highest peak has been about 2,500, but we've never had to do the elevation gain. Only way I can explain this is the top of this could be about 7 feet. That's the height of the car. But from here, to get to the top, could only be 2 feet. The elevation gain to get there would be that feet. So we've never gone that high. I'm a little banged up, but we're gonna see. We're gonna try and we're gonna accomplish it. And if we don't, we have to turn around. We have to turn around. But the point is to try. If we can do it, you can do it. So here's the deal as always. If you want to experience this adventure through our eyes, jump in the back seat and take a ride with us.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear
There she
to
is,
see.
off on her first backpacking trip.
From up here,
Will she make it? Will
the
she
world
survive?
seems small.
Our packs are extremely
We can
heavy and we have to go up
together.
over 1,000 some odd feet.
It's so beautiful,
Each step
you and me.
is going to be harder and harder with all this weight on our back.
We meant to
But
be
we'll figure out what we need. Until next time,
in the great outdoors,
we'll see.
forever free.
We'll head up to West Palm.
Sometimes you need to go take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Okay, I just tripped. Yes, we are breathing very heavy. Ow. I just pulled something in my kneecap. Maybe I should stop filming. Ooh, that looks like a really good picture. It's just like in the movies. Campsite 18. So we're headed backcountry. No toilet, no sink, no shower, no hot water. Just us, the trees, the dirt, and a creek. 16,000 feet and climbing. This is what it looks like. How's it feel? Quite out of breath. But our campsite is only roughly 2 miles in. Sorry, 2 miles up. So, yeah. Our usual speed of hiking, it's not going to work today. This incline, although it's not steep, it's just continual gradual climb all the way up to the 16 and wrapping around the mountain. So we're just taking our time. Only thing we need to do is reach camp before dark so we can set up the tent and find some firewood. Ain't like we're day hiking, we need to hurry up and get back and jump in the car and go shopping, do something else. We just saw a bear. It was a cub just run across, not too far down from us. We just passed by, guys, so there's a bear right up here behind us on the trail. We still got a long way to go. We've been doing nothing but winding slowly all the way up the entire mountain. We now reached 17,000 plus feet. So yeah, clearly we're beyond the 1400. Woohoo! Whatever. steady for over an hour, right? About an hour and a half. She found a giant tree to sit and rest her feet. Apparently it must have fell from up there and broke. This looks like a book cover for like some sort of, I don't know, Enchanted Garden. Looks like some Elf in the Woods movie or book. Yeah. We're still going up, waiting for the going down part. She's still standing strong. Me, on the other hand, it's starting to get to me. Hold on, let me cross over here. There we are, both together. Sweaty. She hasn't had to use an asthma pump at all yet. So, we'll see. My upper body is bugging me with this pack on, but not bad. What you doing? In the middle of the road? In the middle of the road? It's like anybody else is coming up in this. Feet tired? Just had enough. I'm looking for a stump to sit on. There's nothing here. Look at the treads. And your tires and your shoes. You guys, I cannot. The sun coming through the trees is it's like a movie. Anyway, when you were a kid, you wouldn't sit on the floor? Why? And we just heard a tree crick. I was just like, move your head in case one comes falling down. There are a lot of fallen dead trees in here. And don't let that stop you from coming out and doing things like this. You just need to pay attention, keep your ears open, and just, that's it. It really is that. That's it? No. It really is that simple. Just be prepared for whatever. I missed you. Where are you? Oh, there you go. Anyway. And right after I say that, I trip. Just crossed that. I kind of slipped on this rock over here. Time to get some water. We found a source very close. Why just go this way? Come down here and have breakfast. Nobody else is. Hold on. Alright, we're gonna try out a brand new filter. Really? Woo! That girl. Are you about to drink that? Okay. Oh no. I left the diarrhea medicine in the house. In the room. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. What was that? I should hope it would taste like water. All right. Tonight, we got some beef jerky to add to soup I made. Well, it's dehydrated vegetables that I got from Harmony House. They do dehydrated food. It is vegan friendly for those who are thinking about it. We do have Mountain House. We'll probably have that in the morning. But I wanted to make one that I did of myself. So what I mix in here, we have corn, potatoes, green beans, carrots, and onions. And then, of course, I put my own seasoning in there. Some salt. Hopefully it's enough salt. If not, we'll have enough salt from the beef that's going to go into it. It's supposed to be a beef stew, but it will not be thick, so it's just going to be a soup. Beef and vegetable soup. And there is a trail mix that the young miss made. These are dry mangoes. Not really the good dry mangoes, but hey, it's something. We got some dried apples, almonds, and some yogurt raisins. Well, I'm finally sitting down. My knees are killing me. It's all my feet. So I wish I could just lean back. Check this out. No, you can see it. Big old giant tree stump that was cut. And there are two of them. There's a fire pit. I'm thinking about starting a fire. Getting a little chilly, but we've been hot and sweating the entire time. I got the food going over there. She just went down and fetched us a whole heap of water. Woo! She's a country girl. And just above her head, back there, is where we're going to hang up the bags. This little cables, bear cables, because there are a bunch of bears in here. We actually saw one. Well, we said that earlier. We saw a few bears. So now, just resting. My feet and my legs. The tent is over there. And just down a little, about maybe 25, 30 feet away, is a whole bunch of running water, fresh water. That's where we got it from. And cooking up some stew. We left the sugar, so I'm gonna use half of that water for some tea and the soup. Fill up the body. But it's supposed to take us about, it's supposed to be 2 miles up. We started at 3:15. We got here at 3:15, and we started at 3:15. And we got here at exactly 6:15. So it took us 3 hours to get here. I should tell you just how long, how high up we had to go, and we had to go up and come back down. At the peak of where we were was 21, I think it was, or 22. 22K, 2,000 feet. So, yeah, I'm tired. It's about 7:15. Gonna fix up some food and refresh the body. Bear proof. I got it. And there they are, hanging up in there. It's been a day. Well, here we are. Inside.
I'm playing word search on my phone because it doesn't need internet.
What?
I'm playing word search on my phone because it doesn't need internet.
No one can see it.
Give me a second. Wait.
There you go.
Word search. Those are the way to go if you have no internet.
Yes, there is no connection to the world whatsoever. And if we hadn't invested in this Garmin, no one would have had any access to us. So we had the satellite, so we're able to text one of our children,
Your children.
one of our siblings, to let them know that we were here, and we'll get back to them in the morning when we leave out of here. I don't see myself sleeping too much tonight. We don't have the usual pad, so. But yeah, as someone said today, what'd you say? It was a what day?
It was hard.
It was a hard day. Go ahead and tell the people why.
Because it was a lot to carry in bags that were too small. I said I was gonna cry, and I finally did. After I made a tiny fire.
Yes, she cried. It was hard. We hiked up. I've always wanted to get to 5,000 feet. I think that's roughly pretty easy for us. Her with her asthma, me, as we all know, or maybe not all of you know, with arthritis, and so my knees are really bad. And I'm not getting any younger, so climbing up huge heights, probably not all that great. So we've gotten halfway there. We've gone to about 250, right? Yeah, 225, something like that. And getting to this mountaintop was about the same amount. We went about 22,000. 2,000. Yeah, 2,200, you got it. And the elevation gain, as I mentioned earlier, was over 1,000 feet. And the highest we've ever gone with an elevation gain, meaning to get to that point, the highest peak, was about 725. And that was a very, very, very steep. It was almost straight 700 miles up. She used a pump a couple of times. It was really hard on her lungs and my knees. pretty much gave out. That was the year you fell. The first year we went up to the Adirondacks. What was the name of that park? The name of that trail?
Mount Arab.
Yeah, Mount Arab. And she fell. As we were coming down. Right on top of a tree stump. Or just past it. She tripped over it and fell maybe 3 feet down from where we were and then hit the floor. And my knees nearly gave out before we got out there. So, yeah. So you do what you do as best as you can, and that's it. You know, you take it, you take the chance, and you go out there. Otherwise, you say that's for someone else, and I can't do it. Or you can try, and you can go as high as you can go. You can do as much as you can do, and you can take as much time as you want. I mean, we went to Mount Arab. It's only a mile up, a mile and a half, and it's straight. And people were just passing us, and we're taking our time. Like, I'm good with that. What?
But we did it. And I mean, listen, I'm gonna be honest here. People are like, you should never ask a woman her age or her weight. I'm gonna tell you. I'm a pretty hefty woman, okay? We'll just say 300 plus, because I don't know the exact number. I'm just gonna tell y'all right now. I'm gonna be honest, straight up. And I am 5 foot 3 inches. So getting up the mountains is hard, but
yeah. And since 2020, we haven't been able to get to a gym because the gym was closed and just recently opened, and we've had a tough time trying to get to the gym. Yeah. I mean, it's been over a year since we've been out of our rhythm. So, and then we've been trying to do stuff and preparing for this trip. So that took precedent over a lot of other stuff. So when we get back, we'll get back into training, because I have lost so much muscle and so much leg strength in just a 1 year. So, but anyway.
yes.
Yeah, so she said it was a hard day.
We're here to tell you that you can do it.
She said today was hard, and then she was crying. But then she started a fire. Then I had to point out, you did it. You made it this high. You climbed this high. You did it. It didn't matter. It was difficult. You got the job done. That's what we came to do. This is our first time backpacking. We do hike, but it's mostly day hiking, as the hiking community say. You know, we day hike. We'll go out for a couple of hours. We'll do a couple of miles, and then we'll go home. And this is the first time backpacking, which is basically hiking and camping at the same time. So if you ever gone camping, car camping is easy. You can take your whole house if you wanted to, and you have your grill, or if you're really good with starting a fire and using that, you can cook with the fire and in the fire pit, and it's kind of cool. But you're backpacking, you're taking your shelter with you, and yes, you're one of those super people, them ultralight
right,
hikers.
This time her tent isn't the problem. The tent is ultralight.
Well, it's not ultralight tent, but it is a
like,
very light tent. This tent only
like
weighed
borderline ultra.
It weighed about what, 4 pounds?
Maybe. It may have been less than that, actually.
It may have been less than that. An ultralight tent it's probably a tarp in your trekking poles. Yeah. And some people will do that. I am not an ultralight person. And so we wanted comfort. We traded in our air pillows for some really decent pillows, although they need to be big, so we can have a nice night's sleep. So it's not ultralight, but this tent, unlike our ground tent, our regular hiking tent is about 25-30 pounds. So backpacking is, you take your shelter with you, you take your food, you take your we're using the phones because nobody was carrying the camera up here. You take the your shelter, your food, your cookware, and everything else. So, and for me, since we were going together, I got that pot that I showed you, which was a 2-person pot. It came with a few things in it, and our pack was about, she said 15, I said it's at least 30 pounds. So you carry that extra weight on top of your own weight, and you're responsible for that. getting it here and eating and cleaning up. We're a big fan of Leave No Trace. And I've mentioned this a lot on Instagram, and I tell this to a lot of people about being responsible when you go camping and hiking. Leave no traces. Whatever you bring in, you bring out. That includes your poop.
No, we haven't
That
gone
includes your poop.
today. We went before we left where we came from. And it's nighttime, so I don't know what's going to happen in the morning. But, you know, if you're a normal human being, you should be going at least 2 to 3 times a day.
I'm catching a cramp in my back. And it really hurts. So yeah, another way you can do it is what people call a cat haul. We do have a trawl. It's in here somewhere. Where do you put it?
At the other end.
Okay. And you basically dig a 6-inch hole.
Yep. 6 inches deep.
6 inches deep. I say dig deeper than that. And this is backcountry camping, by the way. So you dig a hole, you do your business in a hole, you cover that up. If you're going to use a tissue, use biodegradable tissue. If not, then you haul that out with you. It goes in a nice little bag, and you put that in your bag, and you take it out with you. And that's the way we do it, because, you know, we want other people to enjoy the outdoors. We want other people to enjoy these campsites everywhere you go, whether it is you're hiking or backpacking. What's the other one? Camping or overland.
Mountaineering.
Mountaineering. All of us who do
That
this.
especially because, you know, you don't drop your garbage off the edge of a cliff when you're hanging off of it.
Yeah. All of us who do this, whether you're hiking or camping or you're doing anything in the outdoor, we know this. And it's the most disgusting part that people don't want to talk about, but that's how you do it. And you get used to doing it, and you just take care of it. When you're driving on the trails, you make sure that you stay on it. When you're hiking, you make sure you stay on it so that you do not disturb the nature that's out there. And you keep it clean so other people can go out. So, yeah, I am a massive fan of Leave No Trace, and because we have cleaned up after people who have left trash, and it's not fun, and it's not fair, as we heard somebody else say last night. And we were listening to them talk about the same issue we was just talking about. And yeah, it's not fair, but if we want it to be for everyone else to have fun in, then someone has to clean it up. And it's our responsibility. You know, especially when we talk about backcountry, we came across a lot of downed trees. I'm like, can someone come and pick up the tree? Yeah. It was not good. And after about 2.5 hours, my legs are they're noodled.
For me, it was my feet. They burn right now.
Yeah. My feet pretty much gave out as we started coming downhill because I've been climbing uphill for like 2 hours. So, yeah, we really did. It was up for 2 and maybe down for about an hour, 45 minutes. Okay. So we'd be mostly going down there tomorrow. Woohoo! But yeah, see, you did it. There you go. Okay, well, I'm tired. I have no reception. I do have a book that we were supposed to review. What do you call that book? An audiobook. So I'll probably listen to that, or maybe I'll work on a podcast while we're here, because I can still use that.
True.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to say goodnight. God willing, we'll see you in the morning.